This is part two of a screencast by Debbie McLaughlin on the diffusion of innovation model. So this stripped down graph shows that there's a chasm between the 15% innovators and early adopters and all the rest who make up what becomes the tipping point of an innovation. And what's really intriguing, daunting, and frankly worries me about justice and equity is what happens to the kids who fall into that chasm. What happens when our structures just can't seem to meet their needs? I think about this in terms of who are those innovators and early adopters, and what is their role and how do they accomplish bridging that chasm and getting over to engaging the early adopters. Well, Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote The Tipping Point, talked about mavens, connectors, and salespeople. You can read that quote while you're listening. I think that I'm a maven / connector. Throughout my career, I've been driven by a need for all students to succeed, especially from my years as a GED and ESL teacher in the community college system. I've seen the turnaround for students who have been typically outcast from school, for whom school was nothing but failure. And I've thrived on helping build and lead environments where those students have had legit experiences of being capable learners. And in a nutshell, I've done that by marrying up research, which I thoroughly enjoy, hence why I think I'm possibly a maven, and practice through encouraging and coaching faculty and practices that ensure all students succeed. My next task this summer is to engage faculty who are interested in this diffusion of knowledge model and Gladwell's archetypes. It would be interesting to see who wants to look at this and see what their role is, if they're passionate about UDL or any of these initiatives we have on our plate. How do they see themselves as early adopters? We have many initiatives on our plate for next year. We're moving forward on standards-based grading and assessment. We're adopting a new learning management system. We're building out, it's my goal anyway, to build out a more robust tier 1 in the RTI MTSS model. And we've been doing co-pilot with Project for Information or Education Research that Scales around focusing on engagement and feedback with students. And we'll continue with that and expand to involve more faculty. So as I think about the different ways I'm involved with initiatives for next year and the groundwork we need to lay this summer, I intend to use the Maven Connector Salesperson framework as I participate in some of these activities and lead some of them. And to conclude, I am actually most humbled by the idea that some students fall into the chasm if too many of us are not willing to adopt practices that ensure all students will learn. I don't want to really get into it right now why people might not be willing to, but if our faculty in our institution follow the typical kind of research on this, then we do know that there will be innovators and early adopters, and there will be late majorities as well. It is nuanced. We do have a lot of ways we already set up structures and supports for students. But we still don't also have a widespread or deep knowledge of UDL as a framework. I want to use my Maven Connector identity to figure out how to infuse UDL into all these efforts we're doing, how to offer, educate, and coach toward UDL as a solutions-based way to accomplish all our initiatives. Because at the end of the day, all these initiatives really should be about embracing, celebrating, and planning for learner variability so that all learners succeed.